Hey everyone, Mr. Cush here. I'm back at you with chapter 8. We only have 3 to go, 8, 9, and 10. And we are well on our way to completing Animal Farm here. So, as has been the case before, this is the link over here to the read aloud. If you'd like to listen to me read the chapter to you, of course, it is also your option to hit this link right here. That'll take you to the PDF if you prefer to read it on your own in silence, not having to read along with my melodious voice. Here, and you already know this because you're listening to them, this is where the directions are. It's what you're listening to right now. Before we dive in, want to quickly roll past this slide. Here it is, Animalism, the original 7 commandments that were put together by Napoleon and Snowball way back when in chapter 2, based on what Old Major shared with all of the animals. As you've probably have been watched step by step, all of these commandments, they have really been taking a beating, primarily at the hands of Napoleon. Chapter 8 is no different. So, be mindful of what the original commandments are. Take a look at what they have become, as this probably has made up a pretty big portion of the work that you've done so far as identifying fallacies. So again, make sure that you know these. As we've done in the past, and I would recommend doing this right now, get into your notes. Over on the left side, you can write down how do logical fallacies and propaganda show up in chapter 8. That's the essential question for today, what you're going to be taking the notes on. And then so far as which fallacy you're going to pick apart. Again, we're giving you 4 different choices from chapter 8. 8 different logical fallacies that appear. What you need to do, as you've done in the past, is pick one of them. And after picking the one, reading it, then your job is to pick it apart. How do you pick it apart, you ask? Same way as you have before. All right. The first step is to write down your example. Again, whichever example it is that you want to use. Make sure you write that down in your notes. That's what's up on top. Then what you want to do is identify the logical fallacy that is being used in the example. And I won't roll you back there again, but remember in the slideshow, it's slides 9 through 31. Those are all the notes related to the individual fallacies. You also have your written notes, should have your written notes in your notebook too. You can reference those. And then the big one here is why. That's the last one. What is the purpose of telling the animals these different lies or these different fallacies, these different quote unquote points or arguments? What is the effect? How are they trying to make the animals feel? What are Squealer and the other pigs trying to do? Where are they trying to get the other animals to move their point of view or to shape their thinking? And again, I'll just throw this out. I mentioned this back in chapter 6, but depending upon how you look at the different examples, it is quite possible that you can make a good argument one way or the other for the fallacy of your choosing to be any number of different fallacies. All right. So in other words, there have been instances where a particular fallacy could be identified as being the big lie, but also at the same time could also be construed as being false, like a false cause. It just kind of depends on how you break it down, what your thinking is. So that's what's important, is we want to see you think. How do you show us what you think? You do it in your discussion post, how you write it out, how you explain your thinking. Speaking of explaining your thinking, what you do, as you have before, is get into Schoology. Click on your Tuesday, March 2nd folder. And then in your discussion post, what you're going to write on, you want to pick one of the 4 examples, identify the fallacy you think is being used in your chosen example, explain why you think this is the fallacy being used, and then explain what effect using this fallacy might have on the other animals. As we have in the past, again, we do have a pretty simple sentence frame that you can fill out and that you can use. All right, well, good luck. Happy reading in chapter 8. Looking forward to seeing the work that you are doing with fallacies. All right, take care.